In this video, I'm going to say some revealing and maybe controversial things that you're either going to resonate with or they're going to make you feel like you never want to see any of my content ever again. Now, full disclosure, this channel, my content, is all about, or will be all about, because this is the first video, it will be all about pop culture, the things that I'm interested in creating, the things that I'm interested in consuming, which are not limited to, but including books, manga, manhwa, anime, TV, movies, games, board games, all that kind of stuff. Now, I create some of that stuff, I consume a lot of that stuff. But the topic of this video, well, it's not really a topic of this video, but what I wanted to talk to you about at the beginning of this video is something a little bit different. It's kind of related, but unrelated. And I wanted to ask you this. Have you ever woken up and felt like you hadn't been yourself for a very, very, very long time? Because that actually happened to me this morning. I woke up and I had time to sort of ruminate on this morning. I'm in a little period now where my kids are off school and I worked late last night. I had some time this morning. I'm having a little time off the gym, just a few days off the gym. So I woke up this morning, had time to think about this, and I came to the conclusion that I hadn't felt like myself, the person that I used to know as me, for a very, very, very long time. And I'm not sure how and when that happened, but I wondered if you felt like that before. And I don't know how I'm going to tie this back into what I actually really want to talk about, but I wanted to ask you because I feel like as a creator, let's say like now, because I'm on YouTube and I'm making this video, I'm a creator, and you probably watch loads of other creators and they all have this like persona. And I think what I've tried to do, and one of the few reasons that I've actually created a new channel and I'm putting new content out that's absolutely completely unrelated to any of my old content, is because I feel like a lot of content creators, they have this kind of persona and they want to appear a certain way. They want to appear polished. Their videos have got to be perfect. Their thumbnails have got to be great. Everything's about performance and it's all a big competition, isn't it? It's like a fucking, it's like a race to get attention. And so because of that, people aren't really being themselves a lot. Some people are. Some people have cracked it and they're being themselves. Now, I love characters. I absolutely love writing characters. That's what I do. That's what I probably enjoy most, in actual fact. Apart from, I don't know, the board games, creating the board games is almost on par with everything else. But creating characters is like, that's kind of my strong point. Well, plot as well, but I don't want to be a character. This is the thing. Like, I don't want to be a character in my own life. Who wants to be a fucking character in their own life? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't need to write a scene for myself. I don't need to plot and work out how my life is going to pan out, like, in the next weeks, months, years. And it just seems ridiculous that, like, I'd say probably for the last, like, 5 to 10 years, like myself included, but everyone around me has seemed to be like clambering to grasp for some kind of control over their own future. Like, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I've got planned. This is who I'm going to be. And the more we do that, like, the more difficult it becomes to just like flow with the tide and sort of bend to the wind and just take life as it comes and then pivot when we need to. It's almost like, you know, you set out on a goal and you say, I'm going to achieve this goal, and anything that pushes you in the other direction, you resist it. But actually, you could be pushed in a direction that actually suits you. You could be pushed in a direction where you're going to become even more successful. And I think, having had this hat on for a long time, where I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this to be successful. And I've done various things, and I'm not just talking about writing stories and drawing and creating games and everything else. Like, I'm talking about the other things that I've done and the time that I've wasted trying to be a certain person, trying to like earn a certain amount of money and provide a certain amount of like lifestyle and standard for the people around me, that has meant that I've pivoted so many times and I've leaned into the wind and I've been swimming against the tide for so long that when I look at myself, when I look back on that, I think that who the fuck is this character? What is he doing? Why did he do these things? Like, I don't even find it very difficult to sit here and talk to you. That's a stupid thing. Like, I hardly have... This is the first video on my channel. I don't find this difficult. This is easy for me. So why haven't I got, like, 20,000 videos already on YouTube? I was one of the first people on YouTube. And I'm not even kidding. One of. Obviously, there were many, but I was one of the many. So, yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. I know I'm kind of rambling a little bit. And do you know what? If I am, fine. I'm happy to have these conversations. And I want you to really think about what I'm saying. And if it resonates with you, if it does, great. Jump in the comments, let me know. Let's talk about it. Talk about your experience or how you feel. You know, I know there must be people in a similar situation, even if you're in like a job that you just don't like and you're thinking to yourself, I've been in this job for years and years and years. I've never changed. I've never done anything. Like there's so many people now procrastinating what they could do because they feel safe where they are. Like I'm kind of pinned up against the wall at the moment. Like I'm being put in a situation where life has sort of grabbed me around the throat and gone, you'll do what I tell you to do or you'll perish. And I'm kind of like, well, then kill me. Because I feel that my life isn't, I'm not a puppet in someone else's story. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not a puppet in someone else's story. Like, you are not a puppet. You're the author of your story, okay? But here's the thing with authors, and I find this when I'm writing stories, in that you might have a great idea for a story, just like you as an author might have a great idea for a story, or maybe even God has a great idea for your story, right? And then something happens inside of the story and the story changes. That happens to me all the time. I'll be writing a story, I've got it, the plot's there, the outline's there, I've got subplots, I've got character arcs, I know how people are going to interact and what's going to happen between the characters, and then all of a sudden I find myself in a situation where I'm writing a scene and that scene goes left and the emotion just pours out, and I put myself inside of that character and I can feel their emotion and I can almost feel their next move, and it goes completely against what I've already written. And so then I'm like, okay, well, the story's now going in this direction. Whether I like it or not, the character and the circumstances and the emotion has now decided that this is where things are going. And I just feel like that works because you get to the end of a story and regardless of what you thought it was going to be in the beginning, you finish it. And in the end, it's finished. And we're all going to have an ending to our story. We might want it to be a certain ending right now, but I can guarantee you that you don't know how your story is going to end. So I feel like this battle for control, this struggle, this fight that we always have to control things and to make certain things happen in a certain way just doesn't make sense. And I feel like it's almost... It's almost like you've got to let go and just let something else take the reins and guide you to wherever you're going. Wow, that went so... Yeah, that went so much further than I thought it was going to go. I even got emotional there for a moment. But you hear what I'm saying. So, like, yes, as I said before, I do write stories, I create stories and everything else. And I will share... a link to some of that shit, at the end of this video. I don't want to bang on about it because I don't want to make these videos just to go, oh, please come and read my stories. Like, come and play my board game, do this, do that. That's not what this is about. I've realized what this is about. And that's one of the reasons that I'm making this video. I said there were a few reasons. This is one of them. The previous channel that I made had plenty of videos on it. But unfortunately for me, I wasn't myself. And so what I did was I shared those videos and that channel with family and friends, which is one of the worst things you can possibly do. Because in honesty, I'm going to tell you this, I'm just putting it out there. Maybe you disagree with me, I don't care. Comment if you want to, but family and friends are not the people that you want to be following you. They're not the people that you want to support you in your endeavors. They're not the people that you want to be your fans or your clients or your customers or your readers or the players that are going to play your game. They're not those people, right? Because really deep down, the majority, 95% of your family and friends don't give a shit. They just don't care. Okay, they couldn't care less what you're really doing, but they show up and they have to sort of show their face and say, hey, I'm here, and by doing that, what they do is they like a post, yeah, or they like a video or whatever, and they've done their little bit, and then they fuck off, and you won't see them again until you post something else that pops up on their feed. And that's fine. I have a couple of family members that are absolutely great. Everything that I put out there, everything I share, they follow and they like and they comment and everything else. The problem with that is they're not really truly interested in the content, which then obviously completely ruins everything for your algorithm and stuff, because obviously the social media platforms, they want to push things out to the right people. So if the wrong people get involved, then you're kind of screwed, right? So don't do that. That's my advice to you. If you're in this situation, if you're starting out, if you're creating things and you want to find your audience, find your people, like go and find them in the darkest depths of Peru. Okay, I'm not saying go and find Paddington Bear or his family. I just mean go and find people who are not on your doorstep, who don't live in the room next door, who aren't your roommates or your mum or your cousin or your auntie or whatever. Just let them be and go and find new people. You will find your people somewhere. I think I whistled there. Yeah, so that's one reason. The other reason that I'm making this is because I realized something about myself, and that is that I do really, really like to discuss things. And while I do have children, I have a partner, like I said, family, friends, there aren't any people in any of those little circles that I can truly have a long, deep discussion with about the content that I consume and the content that I'm actually creating. And I always thought that was a negative thing. Like, I used to think, oh, I'm so unfortunate. Like, I'm jealous of these people who have got, like, all these friends around them and these followings and then family members that are working with them and cousins and distant relatives that get involved and the people they've grown up with who they go into business with. And I've always felt like, oh, I wish I had that. But then I kind of look at the other side of the coin and realize that actually you've got a clean slate and you have the opportunity to reach out and find people who can be more better suited to what you want to do, what you want to talk about. Okay, there are bound to be people in the world right now who've been in my situation. I mean, my chair is squeaky, so bear with me because I am going to shuffle around a little bit. But my situation is weird, is really weird. And you know what? I'm just going to put it out there and share it with you because, like, if there's anyone who's in a similar situation, I kind of feel like, yeah, this will obviously resonate with you, but you kind of need to hear it so you know that, yes, there are people like you, like me, out there in the world who do want to connect, and I do truly want to connect. So please reach out to me. I will respond to you. I will. If you put something in the comments, I will respond to you, okay? If you want to email me, if you go to my website, I will respond to you. Like, I'm a real person. I'm not just here to I'm not here just, oh, I'm selling books and I'm selling courses and I'm driving in my Ferrari and I'm in my garage with my car and I'm telling you to jump on my course and I've got a load of people in the background who are all typing for me and running my social media. It's just me. I've just explained that. No one else wanted to be involved with what I do. And even the people that said they wanted to be involved, they didn't really want to be involved. In fact, there were naysayers. There were people that were like, oh, that's not going to work out for you. This looks difficult. I don't know how you're going to do it. I'm out. And so, yes, I, I am isolated, but that can be my strength sometimes, right? And if you're in that situation, then it can be yours as well. So my story is like, I had a weird upbringing, like culturally and racially. Grew up with an adopted family and just solely focused on like things that I could consume and things that I could create. So while I had friends that I'd go and I'd play with their like action figures and stuff, I spent a lot of my time at home on my own, drawing, writing, painting, making things, cutting and sticking, playing games, and literally binge watching cartoons. Like, I was mad for anything new. As soon as I saw anime, I was absolutely hooked. I mean, to be honest with you, this is controversial, isn't it? But my first experience with anime, I thought it was anime, but a lot of people say it's not anime. But at the same time, it was the animation was produced by companies who produce anime. So I could see the similarities. When I was watching Jason the Wheeled Warriors, I was like, this is different. This is very different to like He-Man or even like, Thundercats. Again, it was very different. The way that they animated explosions, the way that they animated the movement and everything, it was almost like there was something really identifiable about the way characters moved and the way things were animated, and I was like, wow. And then my first experience with I shouldn't say this on YouTube, but my first experience with anime was an adult experience, and I was kind of like, wow. Like, a friend of mine, his brother had VHS tapes, and whilst he knew I was into manga at the time and I was reading some comics, and actually he lent me some of those and they were great. Berserk, I think, was one of those as well, but I didn't know the grandeur of that franchise at the time. I was very, very young. But yeah, I'm not going to mention the ones that I first watched because I feel like that would be disturbing for some people. If you want to ask me and I'll type it in the comments, but I'm not going to say it in the video. But then after that, I watched Akira. And I thought Akira was like a kind of just a normal film. It's like anyone can watch Akira. Since I've tried to introduce Akira to my daughter because she loves anime, and there's some scenes in it which she just cannot watch. She's just like, I cannot watch that, Dad. I just cannot watch it. It grosses me out. It's horrible. But I thought Akira was like something you could watch, Sunday afternoon, just in your living room with your parents. Well, I've lost my train of thought there. But yeah, so my upbringing was kind of like, there were lots of other kids in my house because my parents fostered as well. My older siblings, I didn't really have much of a relationship with them. They didn't give a fuck about me. And so I spent so much time lost in these worlds, like in these fantasies, in these sci-fi realms, that I just became obsessed with them. And even like when I went to school, like everything I drew on my textbooks would be some kind of anime or some kind of cartoon, some video game, something. And it wasn't until my English teacher said to me, she said, I want to speak to you. And I was like, I focused in school as much as I could, but I had distractions. I didn't feel that I was very close to some people at school. I felt like a lot of my friendships were very hollow. I didn't trust people. That was probably the biggest issue. I don't think there was a massive issue with other people, but I didn't trust them because of what had happened to me previously. So it's very difficult for me to really bond really tightly with people. So I used to sort of jump from circle to circle, from friendship group to friendship group a lot of the time. And because of that, I think that took a lot of my energy. And yeah, school was a challenge, but I did quite well. I did well in my GCSEs. I think in actual fact, I'm really intelligent, but I just didn't use my brain at the time. And all my teachers had told me that and told my parents that over and over again. He doesn't apply himself. If he just applied himself. But I just wasn't interested in most of that stuff, you know. So yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, so school. So I used to like obviously draw those things in school, and I used to express myself as best as I could. And my English teacher said to me, "I need to speak to you," and I was kind of frightened. You are when, and she was the head of the year as well. So I was kind of like, oh no, what have I done? Like I couldn't even think of anything I'd done because I wasn't in trouble a lot. I was hardly ever in trouble at school. I got into some altercations and I did some things which I shouldn't have done, which I never got caught for. But at the same time, you know, when your head of year is like calling for you to have a meeting with you, I was pretty worried. And I remember going into her office, sitting down, and she told me that a piece of writing that I'd done was really, really good and I had potential. And I remember like bursting into tears and crying because I didn't know what it actually felt like to get that kind of compliment. Like, even though I had loving parents who were very, very busy, they weren't the kind of parents who like I would go to and look for validation, because I think when I was very, very young, like they just weren't available to give me that kind of thing. So I just didn't bother. So in my head, I would always like, I've told my kids this, when it comes to creating things, I used to create like works of art. I used to be busy drawing and creating stuff. And then I'd set it on fire or just throw it away. I didn't care. It was just like, I'm moving on to the next thing now. Really hurt me when my mum got rid of all my action figures and toys and stuff. That was an absolute killer, but I was older then. But yeah, when I was sort of around 7 or 8, 9, 10, like I was creating things and I was just like, it's just worthless. I've done it. I've been through the process. No one wants to look at it. No one wants to read that. No one wants to enjoy it. I will have it in my memory forever, because that's how naive you are as a kid. You think you're going to remember everything, you actually do. So I just chuck it away. And yeah, that's not my mindset now, but it was then. But I remember receiving that compliment from my head of year, my English teacher, absolutely, like, it caved me in. My head was gone. I was a blubbering mess, and I had to sort myself out because I had to leave her office, and her office was literally in my form room. So my whole class was sitting outside of that office, and I had to come out. And I think it was actually during a form period or a registration period, because everybody was in there. And I just remember like trying to get myself together because I had to leave. But not only that, it wasn't long afterwards, because she'd said that, I'd started writing again. And we went on holiday to my grandmother's. Madge, bless you, I love her so much, and she was such a special person. The only person who really took a lot of time out to actually read to me when I was young. And I remember we went on holiday and we went to see her, and we stayed at her flat, which was quite big actually. You know, I say flat, it was big. And I sat at her typewriter and I wrote this story. And I only wrote this story on the typewriter because I really wanted to use a typewriter. I hadn't used the typewriter before. And so I was like, oh wow, this is just weird. Like this old piece of tech. What is this thing? It's just incredible. I press the button and the thing comes up and whack. I was just like obsessed with it, just hitting the ribbon. I was like, this is a brilliant piece of technology. But I wanted to write something on it, so I sat down and I wrote a story. Anyway, hours later, I'd only written probably like I think it was 1 page, and I turned it over and I started writing and I ruined it. But it took me ages to get used to the typewriter. So I think I'd only written like a little short story. I don't even think it ended properly. I honestly can't remember. But I remember giving it to her and being all excited, like, because she was an English teacher as well, and I thought, she's gonna. I hope I get some good feedback from her. And she sort of took it, read it, and what I didn't know was she was marking it as well. So she was just literally using her red pen and just indicating every single mistake that I'd made. And bear in mind, I only had this typewriter. The first time I'd used this typewriter, but I got that back. And as you can imagine, I was emotional, right? But when she gave it me back, and it makes sense to me now, but it still kind of doesn't make sense to me. When she gave it me back with all these corrections, and I'm talking, there was probably as much red pen on the page as there was black pen, okay? As there was ink from the typewriter, I mean. So I look at it, and I look down, and I think she'd written something, but she said something to me as well, and I struggle to remember because, for some reason, my childhood was so full of like highly stressful situations where I was just constantly drowning in anxiety that I just don't remember things. Like I remember pieces of information, and when people tell me about stuff, I'm still like, huh? Did I? Were we? But she said something that was positive, handed it to me. I looked at it, and again, emotions just flooded me. I was just absolutely gushing. I was just like, all of these marks mean she cares. She took the time to read it, and she went, oh, try and do this, try and do that. You need to do this, you need to do that. And I know that I should have been more involved in what probably teachers were doing at school when they were sort of marking my work. But that always felt like they had to. It never really felt like they actually cared up until I had that meeting with my English teacher. But when your grandmother hands you that and tells you that, she's proud of you and you've done well, which I'm pretty sure it was something along those lines. Yeah, I was in bits. And so let me try to segue to today, because this video is getting a bit long for the first video on my channel. And again, I don't care. I hope that people that aren't going to be interested in what I have to share and what I do with my life aren't going to watch this video. And I hope that people who are going to be interested are still here. So if you're still here, thank you. But to segue to the present, writing stories is something that I'm really passionate about, and so when I do consume things, yes, I do criticize. And no, I'm not an expert. No, I don't have a creative writing degree and a Bachelor of Arts, and no, I haven't been to every school under the sun and sat next to some of the most talented people in the world, and yet still I can read stuff, consume other people's work and criticize it because it's my opinion. And yes, I still do make mistakes, and they probably are better than me, but my God, I prefer my stories to theirs. So, yeah, just have that. Anyway, that wasn't much of a segue, was it? But what I'm basically saying is, I want to share everything with you guys. And I can only really do that by communicating with you, because this is the thing, isn't it, about social media? I have a story right now that I'm writing, which is about you, actually. It is actually about you. It's about everybody. And I'm revealing like loads of secrets about people that I know, and I'm sort of changing names and stuff like that. But I'm actually using some real scenarios, and it's really, really revealing. And even though I'm doing that, and even though like the story is crazy, the story is basically about, well, no, do you know what? I'm not going to pitch it here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make another video about it. But I personally think the story is great. It's exciting to write. It's a really interesting premise. But when you try and promote that kind of thing, when you try and share that kind of thing, people don't know who you are and they're not fucking interested. They don't have any value. I don't have any value in something that just pops up in front of me and someone says, I've just made this and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. I'm like, so what? Who are you? I don't care. And that's just it, isn't it? In that social media now has made us feel this way. It's almost like 15, 20 years ago, I could pick up something, or even, do you know what? Don't even need to go back that far. A few years ago, I went to a comic convention and I walked around the convention and I looked at the stalls, and I was approaching people who I'd never seen before, who just had artwork for sale. They'd made one comic, they had their artwork up, they had their comic all pinned up everywhere, they'd done up their little stall, and it was just brilliant. And I love that, and I absolutely love it. If you do that, I love you so much, and I'll always support you. So I went and I bought people's comics, and I bought their artwork, and I just celebrated them. I came home and I was just like, this is brilliant. And I remember I think the year after or 2 years after, I took my son, and I wanted to show him round and show him like how close you are when you're sitting at home and you're scribbling away on a piece of paper at a desk, to being at a convention and selling your book to a reader and having that feeling of, this is a world that I create and I can share it with people, and people actually do want to consume it. And it was fantastic. And then fast forward a few years, and social media is just full of trash and AI slop, and like people who just don't get noticed, and then people who have got massive followings and they've got crap content. And I just think, fuck. Like, I don't know, I don't want things to go backwards, but in some ways I'm like, this could be so different. But maybe it's just my perspective, because I know there are people out there who I've connected with online, and they've done some really great work. But you know, I just wish they had more support. I wish I had more support, selfishly, obviously, and that's one of the reasons that I'm making this channel. But when it comes down to it, it's dog eat dog, isn't it? And that it doesn't need to be that way. It really doesn't need to be that way. I mean, when I look at, for example, I've been on Facebook recently, and I'm coming off there. I left Facebook for years, and I went back on there for business reasons. You know, I've got to promote stuff, I've got to find my following, and blah blah blah, and all this shit that I don't think you really need to focus on. I really don't. I think it's just so false. I think it's so pointless, so arbitrary. Like, yes, I'm going to share stuff with you, but I have a good reason for doing that, in that I actually think you're going to be interested in it. You know, I'm not selling you insurance, or I've got an app that can count how many eggs you've eaten this week. It's like, fuck me, it's exhausting. But yeah, I went on Facebook, and 95% of Facebook now is adverts. It's just sponsored posts. I don't see anything, and when I do see something, I'm like, what is that? Someone's desperate attempt to get my attention. For what though? What's the result of this? Why do you want to share this with me? It makes no fucking sense. It's like there's no value in this whatsoever. So I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm pulling off that. And another reason that I can't tolerate that platform is there are people that I know on there who post stuff which goes directly against their actual personality. Like, they are one kind of person, and then they post something that's completely opposite. And I'm just like, who are you trying to kid? Oh yeah, everyone. So yeah, that platform's dead to me, man. I can't stand that platform. I mean, I'm on it because I was in groups for the board game and stuff like that. And then even then, I shared some stuff about the board game, and people were just like, oh, you've used an AI image. And I was like, yeah, I have used an AI image, because I have photos that they're all over the website, and I have photos, and I have posted photos before, but I used an AI image to collect all the different pieces of artwork that I've actually created for the board game and make a nice sort of collage of them. And people went off, and I was just like, okay, cool, but you're buying board games with they've blatantly used AI art on the actual game. So I'm like, what's your problem? And then I just realized these people are just fucking trolls. These people just don't give a shit. They don't know you, they don't value you, they don't know what your game is, they're not into it, they're not interested in it, they're not buying it. So the best thing that they can do is pull it down, is rip it to shreds, is all sort of jump in like wolves and just fucking consume it and just chew it up and spit it out, because that means that people are going to pay more attention to them than me. Fucking hell, this is the world now. So I'm just like, fuck that. I don't need to be part of that. It's ridiculous. And I will still use the platform to promote what I need to promote when I need to promote it. But when it comes to like actually communicating with people, I actually interacted with somebody on Facebook through one of the posts that I created after I got all that backlash. And they reached out to me and said, dude, love what you're doing. Are these your designs? Love your design. Love the formatting that you've used, everything. Looks really great. That's what caught my eye. If you need some help, I want to help you. And I was just like, wow, this doesn't happen very often. But here's the thing. And I want to say this to you if you're a creator. If you're a creator and you're listening to this and you're interested in this story, oh my God, who's going to be listening to this? But if you're a creator and you're interested in doing what I do, which is, you know, putting your stories out there, putting your board games out there, just creating it, putting it out there and getting readers. I do have subscribers on my website. I do have readers. It is growing. But if you're a creator and you're not sure about it and you're sort of like, oh, I don't know what to post, and listen to me. Don't make my fucking mistake. I've spent so much time in platforms, working on stories, on artwork, playtesting, redesigning, game mechanics, other jobs, other industries, doing favors for friends, building websites for people, doing all this other crap when all I should have been doing was sharing everything that I'm passionate about right here or on other social media channels. Like every single fucking day, like 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day. And the reason I say that is this. If you're creating something of value and you share it with people, they will value it. And if they don't value it, if they have no value in it whatsoever, you can make something else. But if you make something, one thing, and you hold it tight, right? You grasp it like this, like a chunk of gold, yeah? And you go, this is my precious thing. This is my precious, right? Nobody else can see it. You got to share it with people. You got to, there you go. Oh, it's not finished yet. Like, no one else can see it. And while you're holding this, by the way, there's a massive mountain behind you covered in soil. And underneath, it's all gold. So you should probably go digging. You should probably just take this chunk and give it to everyone and go, there you go, have that. I mean, that's what I did to actually begin this journey online when it comes to my books, when it comes to like the franchise that I started writing. The franchise, you know, it is a franchise, I guess, but the series that I started writing, more to the point, is that I finished one story and I just went, there you go, read it. Like, none of this, oh, it's $2.99, oh, you got to... No. There you go, read it. Just give it to people, let them read it. Do you want to read another one? I'm writing another one. That's probably the best way of going about it. You know, I'm going to talk about that in another video because I strongly believe that we do things the wrong way. Creators do things the wrong way. And I'm not just talking about small creators like myself. I'm talking about huge creators. I'm talking about people who are published, people who are actually making like novels, bestsellers, video games, movies, TV shows. Like, we go about things the wrong way. And the reason that we go about things the wrong way is because that's the way the system is designed. And what it does is it ruins things for readers and consumers, people who are watching these shows and playing these games. And it actually damages the companies that are putting this stuff out. Just recently, I read that a company are like $19 million in debt because they failed to deliver on their board game, and they're going to focus on Kickstarter projects. And I'm like, how can you possibly trust a massive company that's $19 million in debt, and now they're going to focus on Kickstarter? So they're going to take our money and then they're going to see how things go. Like, no, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Anyway, listen, guys, I'm going to finish this video right here. I've actually really enjoyed this. Is the first time I think I've actually really enjoyed making a video, and that is because I haven't had to script anything. I haven't had to read anything. I haven't had to have a massive plan, and this isn't part of some fucking god-awful sales pitch. But what I hope it is I hope it's a good introduction into myself, into my world, into my content, so that you guys will come back and you'll watch another video. That's all I can ask of you, really. Just subscribe to the channel, like this video if you enjoyed it. Please comment below if anything resonated with you and you want to discuss anything. Like I said, I will respond to your comments, so please do comment. And yeah, I'm going to be making quite a few more videos very, very soon. In fact, tomorrow. So yeah, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. And I will obviously leave a little note in the description about some of the things that I do, some of the stories that I write, the games that I make, the artwork and everything else. And I'll leave links to all of that down below the video. Cheers, guys, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.